Good evening and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk. Tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Geats, episode 25. The Squid Games begins. The mistress of games, Azu 2.0 herself, has officially declared that JGP has already begun. And so she has picked her chosen, and she is giving them bells with chains. We don't know why or the uses of it is, but she is giving them out. And she also gives out 2 copies of the casino buckles to the Jamoto riders. So she lies them up and she gives them the stuff, and then she herself has declared that I am the mistress of games, and here's how this tournament is going to work. So she is she has said that okay, it's going to be ranked by points, and it's going to be based on how much destruction you cause. So here is the scores. Lives is 1,000, homes 500, dreams 300, and health 200. So I'm guessing in terms of health, either you injured someone or give them a disease. That's health, I guess. In terms of dreams, I'm not sure about that one, but the last two are pretty much self-explanatory. So, and then once the final boss, Niram, is defeated and, taking his driver, and once you defeat Niram and take his driver, the person with the top score will be the winner. That's it. And Ace, I'm just moving forward just a little bit. Ace pretty much realized what I realized in the beginning, that Azu 2.0 is using this tournament as a means to, okay, you do the work and I don't need to get my hands dirty. You do the job and I'm just going to sit here and, wait for someone to come back. That's pretty much what it is. And it's something I knew. It's pretty much like you don't need to be a genius to figure it out. We all knew. It was like, no, as much as Azu 2.0, the mistress of games, is strong, she cannot defeat Niram. She knows this, so that's why she needs somebody to do it for her. Michinaga, I don't see him beating Niram as much as he has improved, because we see in the later scenes in this episode that he is literally, whipping ass on Ace. He's still not strong enough to defeat Niram. But however, Michinaga is a part of the tournament because he has his bells and with chains. And he asked her like, hey, do you have these powers? Because once I come back as the winner, I expect you to honor your end of the bargain. And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it, but you're gonna help me get them, right? Huh? Sure, whatever. And then Michinaga in his fashion just leaves and like, yeah, sure, whatever. And as he was about to leave, we get to see Toru. And yes, Toru is back, but not in the way you think, because Toru has long been dead. And fake Toru is just nothing more than one of the chosen. And he talks like Toru, and he has the memories and knowledge of Toru. So that's shocking in and of itself. And Michinaga's like, wait a minute, you can't be here. You're dead. And, and fake Toru was like, no, let's, we're back together. And we're gonna cause destruction, and he's happy, that his best friend. He's fighting alongside his best friend, even though it's just trashing and causing chaos and all that stuff. And you see him transform back into the monster, and he ends up leaving. And then you have Daichi coming in the back, and he is amazed of how the Jamoto evolved evolved, and based on what I said, like, they can now perfectly copy a dead writer, get their knowledge and their memories, and it seems like they're back. The dead writers have returned from the dead. And Michinaga asked Daichi, like, are you part of this tournament too? And regrettably, he said, no, because I'm not a Jamoto, unlike you, who is slowly turning into one. And here is my theory that's I will tell you guys my theory soon, but I have an interesting theory that will accelerate his transformation. And it's just a repeated history. That's all I'm going to say for now. So we get this cutscene, and there are these people from the temple, priests, whatever, and they're setting up for this Only Bell festival that they're gonna do for the next day. And you see this kid, I'm very excited for this festival. I want to make a wish. And the priest and the kid were having a nice talk until, of course, the squids, the plant monsters, shows up and just wrecks everything. And then we get to the next cutscene where Tsumuri and Weirdo Game Master comes in and tells everybody, hey, there's a squid attack and you need to do your thing. So they go down there and they witness, the destruction of the festival, and the three go in, do the thing. And this is funny because Keiwa, poor Keiwa, because you see him, getting beat up by these two Jamotos, because he's laid on this table or whatever, and you see those two just banging on him. It's just, I find it so funny. Like, Keiwa has become the most unluckiest person in this season so far. So Neon uses her own casino buckle. She gets the zombie buckle, and she fights the monsters. You have Ace, and then now Michinaga enters into the fray and tells the writers, hey, you're the antagonist of this tournament. And the writer, meaning me, Michinaga, I'm gonna defeat you and get 10,000 points, because the mistress of games said that if I kill a writer, I get 10,000 points. And everybody was in shock and like, are you serious? So they continue fighting, and then Keiwa notices that the Jamotos are like very powerful, like their fighting style and just them being more aggressive than ever. This, like, they're having a hard time beating them. And Fake Toru just talks to him and says, we have a will of our own now. We have our desire to remake the world in our image. We have a purpose. That good stuff. And then as he was about to kill Keiwa, round 1 ends. The monsters leave. Michinaga stays for a little bit. So the 4 riders demorph. Keiwa and Neon are like in shock as to why he is still part of the enemy. You see this, like, you want to be a part of this? Like, why are you doing this? And then Ace is like, don't waste your breath on this guy. He's not gonna change, and he wants to destroy all riders, and yeah, don't waste your breath on him. And Michinaga confirms, like, so deal with it. Goodbye. And then Keiwa Neon decides to help the people and pick up stuff and all that mess. And then we have Ace and Jean having their brief talk about the future. And then we move to Keiwa talking to Kermit the Frog and how, hey, you guys have festivals, that sort of thing in the future. And then we move to Neon, still at the site, and um, Kiru comes in and they have a brief talk with each other. It's just a brief spat, just like I think Kiru says to her, you have a radish face and or something. You look like a radish, while Neon says like you have a wormy face. So they're just doing their arguments, their fights, and then she ends it with like, "How do you know about my wish?" We all know, the audience knows that Kiru is Neon's sponsor, and well, she doesn't. The person that she is arguing with is her sponsor. Can you imagine the shock? Can you imagine the shock? Um, Now here, and speaking of Neon, here comes the tea, because we get this scene where we see Niram with Neon's father, and Neon's father is like, dude, I can only do this for so long because I'm trying to come up with excuses, cover-ups involving the Jamoto from the government and the police. There's so much I can do. Like I can't keep up, and they will find out about their existence. You need to do something. And Niram is like, oh well, I mean, sure, but if all else fails, I mean, we could pack our bags and just wipe out the world and move on to the next one. And Neon's papa was like, what the hell? Why? Like, just do it, after Neon gets her wish. And this is where Niram delivers the tea and plus a little bit of spice into it, because apparently Niram mentioned like, why didn't you grant this with your first, like grant the happiness part with your daughter? And then something triggered Neon's papa, because apparently, and I knew this too, it was just a theory, but it just confirms what my theory was, is that Neon's papa was a contestant of the DGP and apparently won. And Niram mentions, well, instead of giving happiness to your daughter, you went to the goddess and wished for a daughter. Like, whoa, like that kind of like hits home for him, because you can tell from the look on his face, it's like, Niram, what the hell? Like, seriously, you throw that in my face? So here's another theory, and I rather just mention this now. Is Neon, does Neon have a sister, an older sister, that she doesn't know about? Is there a possibility that their first child passed away, and before the dad was able to give love or something, he or she passed away? And this is where maybe it driven him to participate, win the whole thing, and went to the goddess of creation like, hey, I wish for a daughter, and here comes Neon. Or another theory, do you think that daughter Neon mentioned was Neon, but she passed away? But however, due to the subtitles, he's saying that instead of giving love and happiness to your first child, you asked the goddess for another child. So I'm guessing that their first daughter, the first child, passed away, and hence Neon came into the picture. Which makes sense of how Neon's mom is overly protective towards her. Makes sense. Anyways, Niran tells Papa Neon that, hey, you need to have faith in our riders, because if you don't and they end up getting killed, I'm gonna destroy the world and leave you hanging to rot. That's pretty much what he said. So we move on to the scene between the kid and Ace. The kid explains why he needs to be in this festival and make a wish, because his mom is at the hospital and he wishes for his mom to return home. That's his reasoning right there. That's pretty much sums it up. And then we get a scene between fake Toru and Michinaga, and they have this moment together where they remember how they used to beat up gangsters during their school days. And Michinaga, again, he's in shock, like, how does this monster knows that? He knew about what happened, and he has the scar of what happened, even though the scar is green instead of red. And fake Toru leaves, and then the mistress of games herself, Azu 2.0, appears, and she's amazed at what's going on and how, they're rekindling their friendship, that sort of thing. And Michinaga, back to his usual self, is like, lady, I mean, this round sucks. I need something to beat Ace, and I'm not getting anything. And Azu 2.0 is like, don't worry, I'll give you a secret mission. Don't be bitching and complaining. And then we get to the final scene. We get Michinaga and fake Toru, and then they meet up with Ace. Ace was about to have a handicap match, but then Gene steps in, makes it a 2-on-2 match. And if you're wondering about where's Neon and KWA, they're fending off the other monsters and protecting the people and that sort of thing, because, again, round 2 begins. And the Jamotos comes in and wrecks everything again. Anyways, so Gene and Ace fights Michinaga and fake Toru. And Gene, again, he's mesmerized of how, Michinaga and Ace's rivalry continues on, and he is happy and excited to see them fight. And like, chill, Gene, chill. Just chill. He is, I don't know, he has a turn on when it comes to seeing those two fight. Anyways, in this scene, I have to give kudos to the suit actors. They have upped it up a notch in this season. It's very impressive, especially Bufa's suit actor, because in this scene, my God, he uses his horns to hook Ace up. Well, to hook Ace first, and then he does a suplex using his head. And then here's the secret mission part, because after he does the suplex with his head, a box appears in front of Michinaga, and he gets a ding on his phone saying that secret mission achieved, and blah 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 blah. And then instead of picking the box up and opening it using his hands, he ends up using one of his foot to just open the lid of the box, and lo and behold, there's the rising buckle. And I thought it was cool on that part, like he used his foot to open the box. And then Gene, while fighting Toru, fake Toru, was like, really, Azu 2.0? Like, that's the secret mission? Like, what the hell? He wasn't expecting that. And so Michinaga uses the rising buckle, and he takes a couple of he gives a couple of hits to Ace again, but he didn't get the energy he needed to get his armor. So what he did, and it was a cool thing, something I haven't seen in Kamen Rider in a while, is that he ends up taking damage to himself, and he gets the last bit of energy he needs to complete the form. And I thought it was cool. That's something I haven't seen every day. You see Michinaga takes his sword and just takes damage to himself just to complete the form. It gets the assault mode. I thought it was cool. So everything in that fighting scene between Ace and Michinaga, I have to admit, was pretty cool. And you can tell that Michinaga has improved, and he's taking the offense while Ace is getting creamed. And now that Michinaga has the rising buckle and the form completed, he takes Ace and just again kicking his ass in the sky and just throws him atop the roof and that sort of thing. And then Ace, just still on his, like, he's on the ground, but he gets up on his side and he's just like impressed by Michinaga. Like, yeah, I mean, dude, you have improved. and and then the final scene, you see Michinaga at the sky. He was about to prepare his final attack. You see his sword in flames, what it looks like, and he's like heading straight towards Ace with sword in hand, flaming sword in hand, and just plans to kill him right there and then. But obviously, he's not gonna die, and that's the end of the episode. Um, in this episode, the only like cool parts, the important stuff that happen in this episode is fake Toru, and also the discovery of Papa Neon and his wish of a daughter. That's pretty much what sums it up to. And also, of course, I'm not gonna neglect this, the cool fighting scene at the very end of this episode. Michinaga taking damage to himself, to using his foot to open the box, and using his head to perform a suplex. I mean, Jesus. I mean, it's a good episode and has its great moments, but it's a good episode nonetheless. But I'm gonna give you guys my last theory involving fake Toru and Michinaga in regards to his transformation into a plant monster. I get the feeling that Yuya is going to write down, okay, Ace is gonna destroy fake Toru, and Michinaga is just standing there, just witnessing the destruction of fake Toru, and that's where Michinaga, in a fit of rage, accelerates his transformation and just go like revenge mode on Ace. I think that's gonna happen. It has to happen because the transformation is taking its slow time, and in order to complete the transformation, something bad needs to happen. And I get the feeling when more episodes arrive, we're gonna see Michinaga's relationship with fake Toru get established. He's gonna see fake Toru as, yes, this is my friend. He came back. We share so many things together, and just having him back, like, he doesn't care if the real one is long dead, and this guy is just nothing more than a monster created by Azu 2.0. I mean, he's gonna have a relationship with this monster, and to witness history repeating itself. Of course, Ace did not kill Toru that first time. I get that. But actually seeing Ace destroying fake Toru in front of him will cause him to go into a fit of rage, which makes him transform into a monster and just go like head first towards Ace. His hatred towards him will go up to 100, and I could already imagine the final episode, the final scene between Michinaga and Ace, because at that point there's no returning, because Michinaga again will point the finger on Ace, saying like, you took away my best friend not just once but twice, and he has more reason to kill him if Yuya goes that route. But I get the feeling that it's gonna go move towards that way. But what do you guys think about that? That's something to think about. Anyways, what do you guys think about the episode overall? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And if so, what would you change? And also, if I forget anything, even though I have my notes in front of me, I sometimes forget. So please write in the comments below if I missed anything. And what do you think about my neon theory, and especially the fake Toru theory? That's something to think about. What do you guys think about those two theories? And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And please give a like and subscribe if you like it. And for those who don't like it and still listen towards the very end, thank you so much. And I'll see you all on the other side of oblivion. All hail the mistress of games, Johnny!